Talk show host Michael Brown.
Brownie. Now.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
It's a heck of a show with Michael Brown.
You're on the radio.
On KOA News Radio.
Yeah, I'm here, and Angie's here. Welcome the producer back. We can actually do a real show now. We can actually do all the things we're supposed to do. So Angie, you weren't here, but we had some phone calls last night, and I forget, it was a totally forgettable individual, but he was really mad because I was doing taxpayer relief shots. And this guy calls in, and Doug's got something up on the board about he wants to talk about taxpayer relief shots. So I didn't really have a clue whether he was going to be for or against tax. I didn't know what it was. And it's one of those callers where they just start out and they're just angry and they're so mad they just keep yammering. And even though I kept trying to interrupt him so I could ask a question, like, you know, slow down, I need to ask you about this and this and this. He says that cops kill people unnecessarily all the time in this country. And so I ask for some statistics. Just give me, you know, you're calling in and you're angry and you're making a claim that cops just randomly kill people in this country and that the numbers are staggering. Well, of course, he didn't have any figures. And then he starts asking me about, well, don't you know about this cop in Chicago that did blah, 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 blah? And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I think he was just convicted. Well, there's just one example. Well, I mean, you called in and said there's a bunch, and that I wouldn't know about this cop, and I did know about this cop. And lo and behold, guess what was in the Wall Street Journal? Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke was sentenced to 6 years, 9 months in prison Friday for the 2014 fatal shooting of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald, which led to the firing of the city's police chief and a Department of Justice investigation of the city's police department. The sentencing comes a day after 3 other Chicago officers, 2 who are no longer on the force and 1 who is suspended, were acquitted of falsifying reports and conspiring to cover up the details surrounding Mr. McDonald's death, sparking outrage in the community. Mr. Van Dyke, the cop in question here, was found guilty of second-degree murder. That occurred in October. He was just sentenced this week. In delivering his sentence, Cook County Judge Vincent Gong, whatever, called the case a tragedy for both sides. Mr. Van Dyke is the first Chicago police officer to be convicted of murder in an on-duty shooting in US the media is. The Washington Post and the New York Times keep track of who cops kill, so that the Washington Post can claim that cops kill X percentage of blacks as compared to blacks as a percentage of the population. So let's just say in round figures that blacks represent 30% of the population, but cops kill, of all the people that cops kill, they actually kill 45%. That blacks make up 45% of cop killings. The Washington Post and the New York Times both point out those racial figures, but they never tell you, because then I go down the rabbit hole. I get so PO'd at myself when I go down the rabbit hole, because now I'm thinking, okay, let's go in, let's do a LexisNexis search, let's actually do this the right way, let's pretend that you're doing legal research, so let's go to the Department of Justice, let's go to all these places, and guess what? Nobody keeps track. So whatever your name was, Dalton or Langton or, I almost said, maybe it was Todd. I almost said D-head on the air. You bring it out, Angie. You see, you come back, and maybe you can find, I don't care about whether cops shoot white people, black people, Asian people, short people, fat people, ugly people, beautiful people. I don't care. What I'm interested in is this. Of the people that cops shoot, or of the shootings that cops are involved in where someone dies, how many of those shootings are unjustified that result in, as Officer Van Dyke, a second-degree murder conviction? That's what I want to know. Because apparently, Mr. D-Head down in Colorado Springs, who was so angry last night, in fact, just because he was so angry, I'm going to do a taxpayer right off the bat tonight. When he calls in and claims that, and I ask, well, where, deep breath, take a deep breath. I don't ask, I know a lot of radio hosts might ask the question, well, what's your source? I don't really ask it in any sort of way as a trick question. If someone calls in and makes an affirmative statement that cops unjustifiably kill people in huge numbers, I'd like to know what that source is. Not because I disbelieve you, but because I want to go read it for myself. I'd like to make my own judgment, form my own opinion about the source material, as opposed to some D-head that's calling in just so angry that I can't get a word in edgewise. So, with that, having said that, tonight's first taxpayer relief, in fact, tonight's only taxpayer relief shot that I'm going to do, comes to us, of course, from Harris County, Texas, Houston, Texas, which seems to have an inordinate amount of taxpayer relief shots. And since I just explained taxpayer relief shots last night, I was going to say you could go listen to the podcast, but since we don't have a podcast up from last night, which is not Angie's fault, by the way, maybe I should just tell you real quickly that a taxpayer relief shot, without going into all of the details, is where we celebrate a private citizen exercising their God-given natural right of self-defense. And this one is a doozy.
Breaking overnight. 3 men are dead and 1 is hurt after breaking into a home. This happened around 12:45 this morning on Sherman and 71st in the East End. 4 men forced their way into the home. The homeowner grabbed a gun and shot all 4 suspects. 1 suspect died at the scene. We're getting reports that 2 others died in the hospital. The 4th suspect was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. The homeowner was not hurt.
Now that is a classic. Just imagine that your home is invaded by 4 thugs, 4 armed thugs, and you're able to shoot and kill 3 of them. Holy moly. Oh, Angie, you'll love this. You'll love this. So you know what? Oh, I'm sorry. She's busy on the telephone. And that's interesting because I've not even given out the phone number. And there she goes. So here's what I wanted to tell you. I thought you'd get a kick out of this. So the D-head that I was referring to that called last night from the Springs, was that him by any chance?
No, that was someone saying that another show makes jokes all the time that you want to make.
Oh, seriously? Would it be a show prior to this one?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I should listen some night. Really? Or is that someone just try? Ooh. You can't tell me. Well, don't tell me on air who that was that called.
Oh, I don't know. They never gave me their name.
Oh, I thought maybe it was Dragon calling in to say that maybe perhaps he was going to
It didn't sound like Dragon either.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so here's what this guy said last night. And I thought you, as someone who is very proficient at the use of firearms, I thought that you would enjoy this. He wanted to know why it is that cops, when someone is charging at a cop with either a gun or a machete or a knife or just whatever, charging at the cop, why can't the cop just shoot him in the kneecap? Oh God. If you're not watching on YouTube and Facebook, that is priceless. You should have seen Angie's face. So let's do this, because I am so confident that you would not be able to shoot me in the kneecap. Let you and I go out to the parking lot, and I'll charge you, and you try to shoot me in the kneecap.
Do I get as many chances?
Nope, just one. You get 1 shot. No center mash aiming, just kneecap.
What kind of weapon do I get?
A 22.
Oh.
22 long rifle. Well, I don't want like some 9mm 45. Good grief, no. She's back for one day and she's trying to kill me already. Okay, so here. I have bad news. Bad news. It's bad news. Every time we've talked about taxpayer relief shots or anything else, I have encouraged all of you that what you need to do is make certain that you have an insurance policy, you know, like from U.S. Law Shield, Texas Law Shield, the NRA, any of these companies that provide legal insurance for your use of a weapon, a firearm, in an incident of self-defense. Well, here we go. Insurance coverage backed by the National Rifle Association that would assist gun owners who later claimed self-defense in a shooting may no longer be sold in Washington state, according to insurance regulators there. Dubbed, now listen closely, dubbed murder insurance by gun control advocacy groups nationally. There's all you need to know right there. Murder insurance. No, it's not murder insurance. It's insurance to mount a defense to which you are entitled under the United States Constitution to guarantee your due process if you are charged with the unlawful use of a firearm. It is not murder insurance, because murder insurance would be insurance that would pay in the event that you murder someone, then you would be able to get paid. That's not what this does. But that shows you exactly the kind of cultural war that we're involved in. Marty, the morning show on the FM side, advocacy groups nationally, the policies became available in April 2017 through a website jointly run by the gun rights organization and insurance underwriting firms based in Kansas and Pennsylvania. Washington State Insurance Commissioner Mike Creedler said in a news release that he would seek $177,000 in fines from the two companies and declared the plans in violation of state law. The policies, he claims, are deceptive and dishonest. I would be remiss as the state's insurance regulator if I didn't shut them down. They will go after guns every which way possible. Let's go to the New York Times. The New York Times is pushing credit card companies to monitor gun buyers. Now, to a lot of advocates, the cause of gun control is actually precious enough to be worth jettisoning not just the rights protected by the Second Amendment, but a lot of other individual rights protected by the U.S. Constitution. As a recent New York controversy suggests, First Amendment rights of speech and association, and Fourth Amendment rights against search and seizure, because if a New York Times article is any indication, now they're going after your financial privacy. In an advocacy editorial, imperfectly dressed up as a news story, the New York Times financial reporter Andrew Ross Sorkin observes that some perpetrators of mass public shootings have bought guns and ammo using credit cards, and is now asking why credit card companies and banks should not be made to stop this. How? Well, of course, you know what the ultimate goal is: to never allow a gun shop, or even if I wanted to sell a gun privately and I wanted to use the Square app on my phone to take your credit card, let's shut down that. They could create, according to this story, they could create systems to track gun purchases that would allow them to report suspicious patterns and prevent customers from buying multiple guns in a short period of time. And of course, they want to invoke the Patriot Act. We live in a world where the security apparatus is becoming so pervasive, and I bet there are a lot of people listening right now that would, in a New York minute, give up your liberty just to be safe. safe. Wouldn't you? That's a pregnant pause. How many of you, it's an open-ended question, how many of you would be willing to give up liberty just to be safe? The piece goes on to note with apparent approval that several payment systems, including PayPal, Square, and Apple Pay, already have established rules that ban the sale of guns and gun-related items using their systems. But no banks have done so, which is what they're trying to get to happen. Now, credit card companies do have sophisticated real-time measures to prevent fraud, the author notes, but they have shown little interest in preventing customers from purchasing lawful products or reporting them to law enforcers for doing so. You know, I think I can say with a little bit of confidence here on behalf of millions of customers that use credit cards in saying that that's exactly how I want my credit card to handle things. I don't mind you sending me a text message if I suddenly, I'll give you a great example, and I don't understand this. I use a Chase Muckety Muck United Executive Club card or something for all of my business purchases. And my big honkin' Xerox printer conked out not long ago. So I do a bunch of research online to find a replacement printer. I order the printer online to be picked up at a local store, and I immediately get a text from Chase. Did you just try to spend X number of dollars online at, such and such online outfit? Press yes or no if you didn't. So I texted back, yes. And the reply was, well, we're sorry, it didn't go through, so you're going to have to do the transaction again. And I thought, wait, it wasn't even $1,000. But I'm not going to fault them because at least they were watching, because I guess I haven't bought enough printers in my lifetime or something. That's what I want my credit card company to do. I do not want my credit card company tracking what I buy. Oh, that Michael Brown, he just bought a bunch of guns. He just bought some ammo. Let's report him to, I don't know, Angie or somebody. Oh, drives me nuts. You're listening to The Michael Brown Show on KOA News Radio.
Regenerative medicine for a moment, shall we? Hi, it's Mandy, and I got regenerative therapy shots in both knees from Downtown's Healthcare, and they have changed my life. I feel like I'm 10 years younger, and I can actually jog again. If you've got a joint injury that won't heal or been told you're bone on bone or need surgery, get a free consultation at Downtown's Healthcare. Call 303-292-9992. That's 303-292-9992 for Downtown's Healthcare.
There were smoking sections on airplanes, in restaurants, and then gradually it got to be where it wasn't anywhere. It's not part of the social norm anymore. It's not accepted. I was at a party this summer and there wasn't a single person smoking. Even in my own home, I had my own designated space to smoke. If I think about it, it really was like I was punishing myself. It was really a friend of mine that said, why wouldn't you just try the Juul? And I thought, okay, I'll try it. And so I went out and I bought one. The idea of going back to smoking is, I couldn't even imagine doing that. I just don't enjoy it anymore. I don't think anyone, including myself, thought that I could switch.
Carolyn made the switch October 2016. Make the switch at Juul.com. That's JUUL.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Big rewards are waiting for you at Isle Casino Hotel Blackhawk. Join the fan club to get access to exclusive offers. Plus, new members who play 30 minutes on the day they sign up will receive a free buffet to our acclaimed Farmer's Pick Buffet. Sign up today for free at Isle Casino Hotel Blackhawk.
Must be 21. Any and all terms, conditions, rewards, and/or benefits published or received are subject to change or revocation without notice. Eligibility rules and exceptions apply. Refer to official promotional rules. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hi, April Zesbaugh here. I enjoy so much talking about the personal attention and financial guidance that Sunflower Bank provides because it's so unique. There's a lot of shakeup going on in banking, and Sunflower is now projected to be the largest bank headquartered in Denver in 2019. While others are shifting away from the Front Range, Sunflower is investing in it. As an example, they've expanded their local team by 50% in the past 2 years. If you haven't checked them out, it's a good time to do it online at sunflowerbank.com, member FDIC.
If you built a van, you'd start with the people who invented the work van, Mercedes-Benz. It would be available in diesel and gas. There would be thousands of configurations to choose from, and you'd build it right here in the USA. Introducing the all-new Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, built for you. The all-new Sprinter, built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms.
This is Sean Farshi with Mercedes-Benz of Littleton. Find your new Sprinter at Mercedes-Benz of Littleton. Mercedesoflittleton.com.
Here's something I didn't know. You could be paying up to 80% less for your family's medications. That's because the exact same medicine can differ.
KOA News Radio time is 7:30. The partial shutdown of the federal government will go on. Two competing bills failed to clear the big procedural hurdles in the Senate today and will not move forward. The first bill involved President Trump's compromise proposal, trading temporary protections for Dreamers for nearly $6 billion in border wall funding. Democrats put forward a second measure, which would have extended funding for affected government agencies and departments until February 8th. Speaking in favor of that bill, Colorado Democratic Senator Michael Bennet shouted on the Senate floor about Mexico not really paying for the wall.
Have the Mexicans pay for it isn't true. That's why we're here.
Some 800,000 federal employees are set to miss their second straight payday tomorrow because of the shutdown. Stocks closed mixed on Wall Street after the Senate rejected those funding bills. The Dow fell 22 points to close at 24,553. The Nasdaq gained 48 points to close at 7,073 points. And finally,
you're cheating hard.
An estimated 29 million Americans are hiding a checking, savings, or credit card account from their spouse. That's nearly 1 out of every 5 people admitting that they are being financially unfaithful. Just over half of Americans see this sort of financial infidelity as at least offensive as or even possibly worse than physically cheating. That's according to an official poll by the creditcards.com company. Our next update at 8 o'clock. I'm Roger Hudson, News Radio 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
Still trying to get that car out of the creek. There's a Clear Creek Canyon. Has Highway 6 closed in both directions from Colorado 119 to Highway 58. So if you're heading up to Blackhawk and Central City, you're going to need to use I-70 to get over to 119 and go that way. CBS 4 weather. Tonight, mostly clear and cold, low of 14. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warmer, highs in the 40s, currently 26 degrees. This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. Are you or a loved one over 65? You're at greater risk for serious complications from the flu. Fever is the main difference between cold and flu, so you need an accurate thermometer. The Exergen Temporal Scanner is backed by more than 70 clinical studies and is quick and easy to use. I'm Darren Copeland on KOA News Radio, Colorado's news, traffic, and weather station.
iHeartRadio is now your podcast app with over 20,000 of the best podcasts, including iHeartRadio Podcast Award winners like Podcast of the Year, Slow Burn, Breakout Podcast of the Year, Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, and Best Crime Podcast, Up and Vanished. Find all the winners and thousands more on iHeartRadio. And coming February 7th, the Ron Burgundy Podcast. Game over. Your music, your stations, your podcasts, anytime, anywhere. iHeartRadio.
I've bought more guns at one place than any other place in my life, and that's at 14th and Arapahoe in Boulder. Gunsport is our kind of store, and I think that's where you ought to be buying your firearms too. You're going to find quality firearms and knives. They've got a large selection of ammo, scopes, holsters, books. They buy, sell, trade, and they take consignment. Gunsport is family-owned, and they treat us like family. A family-run business where they focus on atmosphere and they focus on us. Everybody from the old hard gun vets to the person that's never shot before, Ross, the owner, and Jason, his son, are going to treat us all the same. They've got rare ammo, collector's guns, you name it, they've got it or they can get it. So I want you to drive up to Boulder and see for yourself why I've spent more money at Gunsport than any other single location. 14th and Arapahoe in Boulder. You can't miss this grand old building. Trust me, once you turn the corner, you'll understand why. And once you go inside, you'll understand why I love this place. 14th and Arapahoe, or online, gunsport.us. And when you go, tell them Michael Brown sent you.
If your business is healthcare, you care about attracting the right customers. With 1 in 2 people looking to improve their health in the new year, now's the time to advertise. Getting healthy, feeling and looking better are always on the top of the resolution list. Give your campaign a healthy start with iHeartRadio. We reach 93% of Americans, and 7 out of 10 people research your business after hearing your radio ad. Make it your resolution to grow your business with iHeart. Visit iHeartWorks.com. That's iHeartWorks.com.
This is Sue Bolts, president of Crest Kitchen and Bath. What started as a small business 65 years ago has grown tremendously, but we've never lost sight of what's important: to make sure that each and every one of our customers is satisfied with our products and our service. We're proud of our legacy and would love to be your one-stop source for all your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Let us create the kitchen or bath that's perfect for you. You'll find us in Wheat Ridge or online at CrestKitchenBath.com. That's CrestKitchenBath.com.
Can't wait on hold? Text Michael at 56690. Now, back to Michael Brown on KOA News Radio.
Well, I went down to the Grundy County auction where I saw something I just had to have. My mind told me I should proceed with caution, but my heart said go ahead and make a bid on that. And I said, hey, pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I'd give anything to make you mine on mine. I'll do your bidding and be at your beck and call. Yeah, I've never seen anyone looking so fine. Man, I gotta have her, she's a one of a kind. I'm going once, going twice. I'm sold on the lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10, I know. She's got ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm about to bid my heart goodbye.
I'm sorry, Angie and I got wound up during the break, and I didn't get my stuff in order here. I have to get some things in order. I decided I'm going to go ahead and just make this hour the gun hour. All right? We're just going to talk about guns. So in addition to, I'm going to pat myself on the back here. I said that with the one-party control of Colorado state government, that there would be a move afoot to reintroduce all of the gun control legislation that was tried back in 2013, 2014, whenever it was, that they would try it again. And sure enough, here we are, Gabby Giffords and her dumbass astronaut husband, Mark Kelly, come to Colorado. And according to CBS 4,
retired astronaut Mark Kelly and his wife, former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, launch a new push for gun safety standards in Colorado.
Gun safety standards. You know, all my guns are safe. They all, they work perfectly. They're kept clean. They're kept well taken care of. Some of them have safeties. The Glocks automatically are on safety unless you chamber around. They, I don't need no legislation to make my guns safer. But you know, that's not what they really mean. Come on. I think this is Sean Boyd who's making this. Come on, Sean.
Retired astronaut Mark Kelly and his wife, former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, launch a new push for gun safety standards in Colorado. They've brought together hunters, sport shooters, and collectors to push for what they call common sense gun safety.
Yeah. Common sense gun safety. You know what that means, right? Now, before we play the rest of this, they bring in a bunch of hunters and military vets and others to talk about how they support gun control. You might imagine that they're all of a certain political party.
Effort comes as gun sales are down, and the Supreme Court will be taking up a gun rights case for the first time in 9 years. Our political specialist, Sean Boyd.
By the way, that gun Supreme Court case that Jim Bideman just mentioned is actually a case being brought by the National Rifle Association against the city of New York, because New York City law prohibits you from carrying your gun while traveling unless you are traveling to or from a gun store or a gun range. It's a very narrow case. It may have broad implications, but the case itself, which the court has agreed to hear, is a very narrow case about the ability to take your gun outside of your home. I'm not sure it will address the problem of the example I've given 1,000 times of the hunter that's traveling to Maine that has a layover in LaGuardia, whose flight is canceled, and the minute he picks up his hunting rifle at baggage claim to go across the street to the Marriott from LaGuardia to spend the night, he has committed a felony. It does not address that question.
On the case at the Capitol, Sean, breaking down political barriers is a top priority here.
Oh, yeah, Jim's really breaking down political barriers.
Hey, Jim, this group wants to change the narrative. They're gun owners who support more gun control here at the Capitol. They
Tools.
say they've sat by silently too long while the gun lobby spoke for them.
Useful idiots.
But they don't speak for all gun owners either.
Amen.
And it's kind of in my DNA to go turkey hunting and pheasant hunting and quail hunting.
Mike Hay.
Hang on. Right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That dang old Second Amendment keeps changing all the time.
Aka is a hunter. Vic Bencomo, a veteran. Frank Plunky bought a gun for self-defense. Members of Colorado Gun Owners for Safety, they represent...
You know, I don't know of a gun owner in the world, I mean a legitimate gun owner, not a thug, that isn't for gun safety. I'm for gun safety. I want to make sure everybody knows how to operate a gun properly.
Different gun interests, but share the same gun values.
We're not gun grabbers.
Then why are you down at the state capitol with Gabby Giffords, who is a gun grabber? You are known by the company that you keep.
Nor do we believe in arming everyone with guns is the answer.
Who has ever said, you've never heard me say it, I don't think any responsible gun owner says that everybody should have a gun. Every time I do a taxpayer relief shot, I try to explain that I think you should learn self-defense. Doesn't that necessarily mean that you have to do it with a 9mm? You can do it with a 9-iron. You can do it with a baseball bat. Maybe you want to do it with a chainsaw. I don't know. But not necessarily a gun.
We are the moderate middle.
Moved by shootings like that of former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords.
Now is the time to come together, be responsible.
Who, along with astronaut husband Mark Kelly, threw their support behind the group.
Strong Second Amendment rights, I believe, go hand in hand with stronger gun laws.
I think. Oh, stronger gun laws. What? Seriously. Now, here's where typical media. Okay, Mr. Kelly, what exactly would you propose in terms of stronger gun laws? Tell us precisely what you mean.
What we've seen is the public has shifted a lot.
And Representative Alec Garnett says that bodes well for his Republican Senator Jerry Sonnenberg says...
Is Sean screaming? Tone it down a little bit. Just tone it down a little bit.
It's unconstitutional.
So we're doing away with that due process, and that's a concern for me.
He's concerned, too, about this group being the voice for gun owners. None of them are Republican.
I'm sure.
Shazam. Who saw that coming? I mean, who saw that coming? I mean, anybody that is a gun owner that says, yep, I believe in the Second Amendment because I like to hunt turkey. I like to go shoot chuckers. Yep. I believe in that Second Amendment. Kind of tells me you probably don't know what the Second Amendment's about.
We're looking for.
Governor Polis, who is friends with former Congresswoman Giffords, met with her privately today. No word on whether they discussed gun control.
No. I mean, she was in town to talk about gun control. She meets with the governor. I'm sure there was never any conversation at all about, hey, Gabby, good to see you again. What are you doing in town? Well, we heard we heard that marijuana was legal here, and so we came to pick up some weed. Or we heard there was a really nice new restaurant downtown in Lodo, and we thought we would go. Or we heard that there was an In-N-Out, but we've got In-N-Out in Arizona, so we don't know why we came here. Oh, well, what are you doing at the Capitol? Oh, we were just having a little press conference about, I don't know, the growing of peaches on the Western Slope. Yeah, peaches. We're here to talk about peaches.
Has indicated support for temporarily taking guns from those who are mentally unstable. And with Democrats in control of both chambers this session, the bill will likely pass.
And guess where else they're going? It's not just blue Colorado. They went to Iowa.
Iowa is at a crossroads. Background checks help keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people, like felons and domestic abusers.
Felons? Background checks help keep guns out of the hands of felons. How many felons go to the gun store to buy their gun? Or to the gun show? The gun show loophole is a myth. The felons go to other felons who get their guns by stealing them from lawful gun owners. By the way, I probably should have explained that this is an ad running in Iowa right now.
Iowa is at a crossroads. Background checks help keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people, like felons and domestic abusers. But Iowa lawmakers are considering changes to our state constitution that may eliminate Iowa's current gun laws. Tell your state legislators you support strong gun safety laws.
Everybody's for strong gun safety laws. George Orwell is staring down at us from heaven going, well played, my useful idiots, well played. Nobody's for unsafe guns.
Including background checks. Keep our communities and our families safe from gun violence. Say no to changing Iowa's constitution.
Oh, yeah. Say no to changing Iowa's constitution. Honestly, can I just speak truthfully? I always speak truthfully on the program, but can I speak from the heart for a minute? There are nights when I want to give up. Just give up. All sorts of reasons that I just want to give up. There's just there comes a point when you look around and you see everything, you see all the things going on around you, politically, culturally, and you just say, well, that's mismanaged. Wow, there's no leadership there. You don't keep your word. You are lying about what your real intentions are. I just think, wow. Maybe it's time to go to the bunker. Maybe it's time to go to the undisclosed location. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez doesn't give an F about anything. Hang on. Oh, here, let's just play it. Here we go. She's on Colbert, I think.
Hey, everybody, we're back here with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the new Congresswoman from Queens. Now, Congresswoman, for you and some other freshman members of Congress, you're getting a fair amount of pushback privately and publicly from more established members of even your own party saying, wait your turn, go slow. Don't ask for so much so fast right now. You're new, wait your turn for everything and don't make waves. Now, I want to ask this question.
She gives 0 Fs. She gives 0 F-bombs. And she makes the 0 sign, like you put your index finger and your thumb together, and she makes a big 0 sign. And then she complains when people point out that she doesn't give a flying F about anything, and claims that it's racist for people to point out that she doesn't give a flying F about stuff. She also decided that it was time to invoke the Bible in response to a White House comment about climate change. Yesterday, she responded to White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders, telling her to leave climate change up to a, quote, much higher authority by invoking the Bible. Now, she didn't quote specific verses. The freshman lawmaker invoked scripture in her defense of her impassioned pleas to address climate change. Quote, Genesis 1, God looked on the world and called it good not once, not twice, but 7 times, she tweeted. Genesis 2, God commands all people to serve and protect creation. Leviticus, God mandates that not only the people, but the land that sustains them shall be respected, she added. And then she says in a follow-up tweet, you shouldn't need a Bible to tell you to protect our planet, but it does anyway. Now, she appeared to be paraphrasing a relevant magazine article from last year titled, Stopping Climate Change is a Part of Following Jesus. The article included adapted translations of specific biblical passages. Ocasio-Cortez has frequently used Twitter to spar with her critics and promote her progressive messaging. Can I disagree a little bit? Let's just go with Genesis 1 and her tweet. God looked on the world and called it good not once, not twice, but 7 times. God thinks the world is good. I mean, he created it. So therefore it must be good. But I don't want to be all theological here. And then let's go to her tweet about Genesis 2. She says that God commands all people to serve and protect creation. God gave us dominion over the earth and all the inhabitants therein, all the creatures that inhabit therein. That doesn't mean that, for example, I'll never forget the first time that, I told this story one time and somebody got all ticked off about it. I'm not going to tell the story again. But let's just say that if you shoot, we were talking earlier about shooting quail or pheasant or chuckers. Every time that we have a meal, we bless that food. And we bless that food because we recognize that perhaps an animal, a pheasant, a quail, or a chucker, or a deer, or an elk, or a moose, gave their life so that their meat might sustain our bodies. I've got great respect for the land, great respect for the creatures thereon, great respect for my fellow man. It doesn't mean, though, that we can't exploit those wonderful things that the earth has. Because if that were the case, every time she exhales, which she does a lot, she's spewing more CO2 into the atmosphere, and CO2 has been determined to be a greenhouse gas. And I would just imagine that occasionally, I don't want to say she does it often, but occasionally, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez might pass a little gas. Just here and there. She just might pass a little gas, and that methane ends up in the atmosphere, and that methane contributes to global warming. So I would just suggest that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, if she really believes in her theological tweets, that she might want to quit breathing and quit farting. Holy cow. As a sign of just how deteriorating American society is becoming, I don't have time to do this. We'll do this in the next segment. Instead, we'll do this real quickly. This is just as good. This is just as good an example of how deteriorating American society is becoming. A company called VAY, V-A-E-Y, is selling pre-used Kleenexes, pre-used tissues for $80. Better buy them now.
You tear your muscles to become stronger. You learn to fall to become a dancer. you callous your fingers to become a musician. Why is your immune system any different? Introducing a tissue powered by the human body for the human body. This flu season, keep your immune system feeling like your immune system. Vave.
The tissues are treated with organic ingredients. They're non-prescription, and the company claims they help your body's immune system prepare for the flu season. According to their advertisement, quote, "We believe using a tissue that carries a human sneeze is safer than needles or pills." Hey, Angie, you want to use Kleenex? Might help you stay well. I'm going to blow my nose over here in a tissue and give it to you for your birthday. How about that?
No.
It's good for you. You're listening to The Michael Brown Show on KOA News Radio, 850 AM, 94.1 FM, and always on the Michael Brown Show page at KOANewsRadio.com.
Tomorrow on Colorado's Morning News.
When it comes to travel in 2019, the whole world is on sale. We'll ask an expert where to go.
Michaela Schifrin continues her unbelievable run ahead of the World Championships. We'll hear from her.
And we talk Broncos moves on KOA News Radio.
It's 2019, and you're starting the year already in trouble with the IRS. Why not make this new year the final year of tax woes? No matter what your situation, back taxes, years since you filed, an audit, get help now from Larson Tax Relief. The tax help people I fully endorse on my referral list at referralist.com. Hey, with New Year's resolutions, the weight's on your shoulders. But with tax problems, Larson relieves the pressure because they take on the battle. My friends Ron and Jack Larson and their team of licensed experts get between you and the IRS to negotiate the best possible settlement. Way better than you can do on your own. And because Larson has seen it all before, they won't judge you. Their only interest is helping you through your tax mess. Don't wait. Don't waste another year with anxiety, worry, and shuddering whenever the mail arrives. Call now, 844-LARSON-TAX. That's toll free, 844-LARSON tax, or online at LarsonTaxRelief.com.
Sometimes it's a buyer's market. Sometimes it's a seller's market. But it's always a renter's market. So if you're considering a move or just tired of paying your mortgage, why not rent your home and have someone else pay your mortgage? Renting can be a fantastic long-term investment, but maybe you're not sure what to charge or how to find the right tenants. That's where Renters Warehouse comes in. They perfectly price your house. They find great tenants in just days. And for one low, flat monthly fee, they will manage your property 24/7. They'll collect the rent. They'll handle the maintenance requests. They'll even warranty your renters. That means if your tenant doesn't stay, Renters Warehouse will replace them for free. There's no upfront fees, no marketing fees, and no binding contract. Go to renterswarehouse.com right now to book a free home rental price analysis and see what your home will rent for. That's renterswarehouse.com. Because you can't buy happiness, but you can rent it.
Find out how much your home will rent for. Renters Warehouse. RentersWarehouse.com.
Cure your cabin fever with a fresh new floor from Lumber Liquidators. Get charming copper heaviest solid hardwood for only $2.99. That's 33% off. Or save up to 10% off all Corelux waterproof flooring like best-selling Beach Cottage Oak engineered vinyl plank. Or get Stone Look tile as low as 98 cents. Lumber Liquidators' professional installation team can even put in your new floor for you. Plus, get special financing. Don't wait. Visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you.
Big rewards are waiting for you at Isle Casino Hotel Blackhawk. Join the fan club to get access to exclusive offers. Plus, new members who play 30 minutes on the day they sign up will receive a free buffet to our acclaimed Farmer's Pick Buffet. Sign up today for free at Isle Casino Hotel Blackhawk.
Must be 21. Any and all terms, conditions, rewards, and/or benefits published or received are subject to change or revocation without notice. Eligibility rules and exceptions apply. Refer to official promotional rules. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. At Cordell & Cordell, we encourage our clients to participate, to recognize how essential their role in this process is. They've got to be willing to help us help them. And by working jointly in a sort of partnership, we're more likely to get the best possible outcome for our clients. And that's really the standard that our clients can fairly hold us to, is what is the best possible outcome for them. So clients who are facing divorce need to recognize that for them to succeed, they need a partnership between them and their attorney.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Colorado attorneys. A partner men can count on. 303-221-DADS. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Denver Tech Center, Boulder, and Colorado Springs. Cordell & Cordell, 5445 DTC Parkway, Suite 750, Greenwood Village, Colorado, 80111.
KBCO HD3 Boulder. This is an iHeart radio station.
KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM. The 50,000-watt blowtorch of the Rocky Mountain West.
KOA News Radio time is 8 o'clock. Our top stories: Trump and Pelosi continue to play a game of deal or no deal this evening, and Florida's Secretary of State resigns after an embarrassing picture surfaces. We have details, but first, traffic and weather together. Here's Darren Copeland.
Several closures are going to ruin your drive around the metro area and around Colorado. Highway 6 remains closed in both directions from Colorado 119 to Highway 58. That's due to the car that went into Clear Creek. You're going to need to use I-70 to get to Blackhawk or Central City. Meanwhile, westbound I-70 is closed between Edwards and Colorado Road 131. You're going to need to use US 6 to Walcott as an alternative. And down in Colorado Springs, northbound I-25 at Fontanero Street remains closed due to an accident. Cars are being taken off on Bijou Street. I'm Darren Copeland on KOA News Radio, Colorado's news, traffic, and weather station.
Skies will be clear, but it's going to be cold tonight. Temperatures dropping down into the middle teens. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 42 the high. 46 on Saturday with lots of sunshine, and then Sunday looks to be the pick day of the weekend. Mostly sunny with 53 degrees for the high temp. From CBS 4, I'm meteorologist Dave Aguilera on KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
Mostly cloudy and 24 degrees. Senators on both sides of the political aisle are pushing for a measure that would reopen the government. Speaking to reporters earlier today, President Trump said that he would support a Senate deal if that deal was reasonable.
Well, it depends what the agreement is. I mean, yeah, but if they come to a reasonable agreement, I would support it.
Trump suggesting that he would reopen the government in exchange for a large down payment for a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. Not long after he said that, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi rejected President Trump's proposal to reopen the government for 3 weeks in exchange for a down payment on a border wall. Pelosi said it was not a reasonable request. Pelosi has called for Republicans to reopen the government before any negotiations would begin. A vigil being held in the Emmanuel United Church of Christ in Sebring, Florida this evening for the victims of Wednesday's Central Florida bank shooting. Here's Diane Griffin. She is the moderator of the church. She's leading the services.
We're gathered here in this safe place to remember, honor, and mourn the death of 5 amazing Highlands County women.
Florida police are still confused about exactly what happened. They say the 5 people who were killed at the bank shooting in Sebring yesterday were all women. It still does not appear that it was a bank robbery, but law enforcement still have no motive. It appears it was just a random act of violence. Florida Secretary of State Mike Erthel is stepping down after a photo of him with blackface has emerged. The Tallahassee Democrat published the photos of him wearing blackface with a shirt that said Hurricane Katrina victim at a Halloween party back in 2005. Republican Governor Ernest DeSantis' office is announcing the resignation just hours after those photos surfaced today. In his resignation letter, the Secretary of State said, "It has been an honor to serve you and the voters of Florida." When the press asked him about the circumstances surrounding the photos, the Secretary of State said he had nothing to say. Violent crimes are on the rise in Denver last year. Murders and aggravated assaults were up more than 17% from 2017.
Police Chief Paul Pazin talks about the number of people murdered in 2018.
We had, unfortunately, 67 people in 60 incidents. We had many, or 5 double homicides and 1 triple homicides that contributed greatly to that number.
42% of the incidents involved guns, resulted in 49 victims. The use of firearms up last year. Along with enforcement, the police department says it's using the crime data to launch new initiatives to address the root causes of crime. Jerry Bell, KOA News Radio.
And I'm Roger Hudson on News Radio 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
You know, I've told you a few years ago I turned down endorsing a solar company because when I looked at the financials, it just simply didn't make sense for the homeowner. I just couldn't endorse it and suggest you go use them. But that's no longer the case with Zoetic Solar. With Zoetic Solar, what they do is they replace your current electric bill as payment for your own solar panels so that your monthly out-of-pocket is the same as your electric bill, except that now you own your energy. There's no down payment needed, and once your panels are paid off, you've got free energy for your house for life. You own those solar panels as opposed to renting them, which is what everybody else does. This simultaneously gives you more money in your pocket and increases your home's value. And when Zoetic puts solar panels on your roof, they're also going to insulate your attic, put in a smart home thermostat, all for free, saves you even more money. And Zoetic Solar is a Colorado-owned and operated company right here in Denver. So if you're thinking about using solar on your home or your business, call these guys and just get a free quote. 888-637-4447. That's 888-637-4447.
Tonight, Michael Brown joins me here.
This is the former FEMA director.
Talk show host Michael Brown.
Brownie. Now.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
It's a heck of a show with Michael Brown.
You're on the radio.
On KOA News Radio.
As you may or may not be aware, teachers in Los Angeles apparently going on strike, and teachers in Denver are going on strike. Agent Jed A sent this email this morning. According to this summary put out by the state of Colorado, the Denver City School District employs 15,631 people. How many of the 15,631 people employed by the Denver City School District do you think are teachers? I mean, come on, before we jump to any conclusions, let's be serious now. What's the purpose of a school district? I mean, besides indoctrination. Set aside indoctrination for a moment. It's to babysit, house, feed, and I suppose in some instances, clothe rugrats, right? So who needs stinking teachers? Why even have teachers? Well, the Denver School District proves my point. 15,631 people are employed by this school district, but only 6,314 of them are teachers. Now, I didn't do the math, but Agent Jed A did, and he says that's 40%. So less than half of the people employed by the Denver School District are actually teaching. He gets that from the Colorado Department of Education website. He asks, can you think of any other private industry that has not gone bankrupt, where the ratio of If you want to know what is wrong with public education, I submit, Your Honor, these statistics. Let me repeat it, because I want you to go to bed tonight thinking about this. I want you to cover up, get all cuddly and warm in your bed. Then I want you to think, I'm a taxpayer. See, it doesn't make any difference whether you have kids in school or not. Your taxes go to help pay for that 15,631 people, of which only 6,314 are actually in the classroom teaching. Now, I don't know whether that 6,314 includes like paraprofessionals or counselors. But irrespective of whether it does or not, only 40% are teachers. I'd say, I'm not a turnaround expert or anything, but I did sleep at a Holiday Inn last night. And I would say that if you want to figure out a way to cut costs, cut your damn overhead. Oh, speaking of overhead, I mentioned yesterday about the Douglas County School District teacher, Michelle Grissom. And she had deleted her Twitter account after doxing a kid. If you don't know what doxing is, D-O-X-X-I-N-G, I'm not in the mood to explain it again. Go look it up. She doxed a kid. Someone who was not even in Washington, D.C., doesn't even go to that high school. She tweeted out a picture of him and said that he was a member of the Hitler Youth. The Douglas County School District is meeting, I think, as we speak. The Douglas County School District apparently you have to sign up if you would like to speak, which makes sense. You don't want a mob, and you want to know, okay, so we have 45 people or 450 people that want to speak at the school board meeting. So let's have them sign up, and then we can be methodically going through the list of names and, okay, so Billy Bob, you signed up first, you're first, and then, Calamity Jane, you signed up second, and then Angie signed up, and then old Michael Brown signed up. Except they also want to know what you want to talk about. They want your subject matter. And if your subject matter is that teacher, Michelle Grissom, they have said, no, you can't talk about that. Now, the last I checked, I may be totally wrong about this, but the last I checked, the Douglas County School District goes to help. Damn, I wish, I should just pack up and drive down there right now. Just barge in. I can make a scene. I'm very good at making a scene. A new bill would charge people to unblock porn sites. This comes to us from Fox 10 in Phoenix. See, we're not the only dumbasses. Sometimes I think that in Colorado we're like the dumbass of the country. And that's saying something when you think about you got California, you got Massachusetts, you got Illinois, you got New York, Jiminy Christmas. Phoenix, Arizona, House Bill 2444. I'm sorry, 2444. Write that down. State Representative Gail Griffin. She represents District 14, the southeastern Arizona district that covers all of Cochise and Greenlee counties, along with southern portions of Graham County, but you don't care about any of that in Pima County. According to the bill, products that make content accessible on the internet cannot be made, sold, leased, distributed, or made in the state unless it contains blocking software that blocks obscene materials by default. Which justice was it that says, I don't know what obscene is unless I see it and then I know what it is? Under the bill, people who wish to deactivate the blocking software must make a request to the person or company that distributed the device, present ID to prove that he or she is at least 18, and among other things, pay a deactivation fee of at least $20 to the Arizona Commerce Authority. Those fees would then go to a fund that will finance a number of initiatives via grants, including the building of a border wall between Mexico and Arizona, or fund border security. Now let's get something straight, sweetheart. I want to build a wall. I want to build a big, beautiful wall. I don't care whether it's, PVC or steel or metal or concrete or razor wire. I don't care what it is. I just want a big, beautiful wall. This ain't the way to go about it. Let me explain what this bill does. It says that every manufacturer of an iPad, or let me just make it generic, of a laptop, a desktop, smartphone, a tablet, any device that connects to the interwebs has to have a lock on it that prevents you from looking at anything that apparently, I don't know who's making this determination, prevents you from seeing anything that is obscene. Because, after all, You are an adult. But the kicker is, if you want to look at porn, or you want to look at, you know what, maybe, Angie, they might consider you and I, our mugshots, as being obscene.
You're obscene?
Well, I'm just saying maybe. There might be people in the audience right now that consider looking at me that it's obscene, having to look at me. Can't say the same. Well, I can say the same for you. They're looking at you and thinking you're obscene too. You'd have to pay at least a fee of at least $20. So you know what that means. If this passes, at least $20 means it'll be $40 or $80 or $120. You got to pay to observe or look at something on the device that you paid for that somebody else has decided is obscene. When I said earlier there are just days when I just want to quit, this be one of them days. I'm cheating on, don't tell anybody, but I'm going to cheat on...
They can't wear that.
Oh. So if you belong to... Now, I'd like to point out to Sonny Hostin that if you want to see politics in a church setting, and I know because I've done it, go to a black evangelical church. Holy moly. Well, maybe I should actually say holy roller. If you want to hear some really fine political speeches, go to a black church. I'm not kidding. It is fantastic. And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being dead serious. It is a beautiful mixture of the gospel and politics. So, Sonny, you want to take away the tax exemption for black churches? That might be a little racist. I don't know. But think about her logic. Her logic is, since the Catholic Church, because we're going to pick on Catholics, because apparently Catholics are now, I mean, I know Christians are evil, but now we got a subset of Christians, which are the Catholicism. So they're the evil people of the day. We need to take away their tax exemption because those kids in D.C. were standing on the Lincoln Memorial. Now, if you've never been to the Lincoln Memorial, the memorial itself is wonderful. But at the bottom of the steps of the memorial and off to the sides, both sides, where the tour buses and everybody gathers, you can buy any sort of trinket that you want. It is a plaza of crap from China, including Make America Great Again hats. So I'm sure that as they were standing there, these kids, 15 and 16-year-olds, bought Make America Great Again hats, and they put them on. How is that? How is that the Catholic Church endorsing Donald Trump? Or maybe it's just the Catholic churches because, well, those boys bought hats. In another example of why I just want to call it quits, you can't see all of this, but this is a story about homelessness on the New York City subway.
Someone turning half of an entire subway car into their home, filling it with bags, boxes, and clothes on the floor. In another, benches being used as beds. Edwin Rivera says it's why he has trouble finding a seat on the 2 train from 149th Street and 3rd Avenue in the Bronx to his job near Columbus Circle.
At 5:30 in the morning, you get in the car, there's somebody sleeping there. 2, 3, 4 persons sleeping in different cars. The smell is terrible. Sometimes they defecate on themselves.
On the New York City subway. Now, this is bad enough, right? You get on the subway car and you got, people lined, and the photographs are really disgusting. Here are these pathetic homeless people spread out. They've got their grocery carts, everything, just riding the subway at will. Defecating, urinating, everything. This is why I don't ride the New York City subway. Never have, never will. But listen to the rest of the story.
And that's, you have to leave that car.
Samuel Santos says it also happens on the A train when he gets on at 181st Street.
A lot of time is standing because you don't want to sit down.
F train commuter Andrew Quinn says he's notified conductors.
They tell you they're just like, I know and I reported it, and they just have to keep the trains moving.
In other words, no, this is just the one of three things I want you to hear. So they report it to the conductors, and the conductors are like, yeah, we know we can't do anything. We just got to keep the trains running. Seriously? This is the end of civilization. When you can't even say, you can't sleep on the subway. You can't. Can't sleep on the subway, darling. What was that? There was a song like that.
Showed the videos to NYPD Police Commissioner James O'Neill tonight.
The police commissioner. They showed him the photographs. The police commissioner.
Is the NYPD supposed to be stepping in here and getting these guys off the cars?
Yeah, and as I look at these videos, of course, they're disturbing. They're not supposed to be laying down on the subway. If you're taking up one seat, you're not committing any violations, that's fine. But there are things we can do. This doesn't necessarily rise to the level of a violation, a summons or an arrest.
I wonder if the
it doesn't rise to a violation, and you know what? If somebody's taking up more than one, yeah. This is an example of why this republic is dying. They're in charge of this. So I bet they will do something, right?
Spokesperson would not answer our questions.
Oh, of course not. We can't answer your question. You got a question about homeless people pooping and peeing on the subway? No, we can't. We can't address that. No. If our society has reached the point where people can poop and pee on the subway and nobody takes responsibility, nobody, then we're doomed. You see, you would have thought that I would have been on the air bitching and moaning about some really big constitutional issue. That's not how a republic dies. A republic dies when you can't even stop people from pooping and peeing on a subway, and everyone who is responsible in the chain of command, the conductor, can't do anything. The police commissioner, can't do anything. The Metropolitan Transit Authority that runs it, nope, can't answer your questions. That's how a republic dies. And if you think I'm overreacting, I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll take a field trip. We'll take a fun town. It is one of the scariest places in the world to go to, and I've been to some really S-hole countries. And it irritates me that I can't conceal carry in Los Angeles just to go to my favorite Mexican restaurant. And the same is true now in New York. Oh, it'll come here soon. Mark my words. It'll be here before you know it.
That's pretty much all I got.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building.
The Buffalo's road heavy